The movie begins with a man narrating that the story revolves around the crimes committed by Karen Bird and Jack Bluebird, and that by June 1974, they would be wanted for 11 homicides in 6 states. Our narrator sets the stage, transporting us back to the tumultuous 70s, where the seeds of chaos were sown. He states that Karen, born in 1956 in the heart of Tennessee, seemed to have it all: a picture-perfect childhood, devoid of the harsh realities that life often brings. Yet, beneath the surface, a rebellious spirit simmered, manifesting in a disdain for the confines of church and a fascination with guns. Meanwhile, Jack's life was a stark contrast, marred by tragedy from the very beginning. He was born 7 years before Karen, and his mother's untimely passing during childbirth left an indelible mark. Amidst this turmoil, poor Jack found solace only in Elvis Presley's music, an obsession that would become an integral part of his identity. Karen and Jack's lives were a blur of aimlessness and recklessness, a never-ending quest for something more. And later, their yearning for something better led them to each other. Their paths converged at a Michigan rehabilitation center, a place meant to heal. But for them, it became a catalyst for chaos, where Jack, struggling with the demons of his past, was diagnosed with a delusional disorder and subjected to the harsh realities of electroshock therapy. Karen, on the other hand, wandered the halls aimlessly, her spirit unbroken but searching for a purpose. When for the first time, they lock eyes, a spark ignites, setting off a chain reaction that would culminate in one of the most destructive love stories in the annals of American crime history. Their love is a ticking time bomb, waiting to unleash a maelstrom of violence and destruction upon the world. One day, during a therapy session, Karen's doctor cautions her about Jack, labeling him a dangerous individual who hears voices in his head, urging him to commit unspeakable acts. At the doctor's warning, Karen just laughs. Later, while Karen is engaged in a game of chess with another patient, Toby, Jack bursts onto the scene, sending the board flying. He sits down in Toby's place, his eyes blazing with intensity as he warns Karen not to cross him, lest she face the consequences. But instead of cowering, Karen smiles, her fascination with Jack growing. And after this interaction, they fall for each other, quickly, their bond forged in the fires of rebellion and chaos. She even writes in her diary that he is unlike anyone she has ever met. She even confesses to him that, at the age of 8, she murdered a bird just to watch it exit her. And at this, he just confesses how much he likes her. He revels in her twisted nature, and she finds solace in his unbridled passion. United, they feel no loneliness, their darkness complementing each other like two pieces of a macabre puzzle. But this carefree feeling comes to an end one day, when Jack receives a letter that will change everything. Elvis Presley, the king himself, is coming to town, and Jack is consumed by a sense of purpose. He rushes towards Karen, his eyes blazing with an otherworldly intensity. He reveals his long-held secret that a few years prior, he believed his deceased mother had communicated with him, issuing a chilling command to end Elvis. Turns out that the revelation is rooted in a bizarre incident where Jack accidentally played his favorite Elvis record in reverse, convincing himself it was a message from beyond the grave. And today, to convince Karen of his plans, he shows her that Elvis is having a concert on the same day his mother passed, and that is a sign. He implores Karen to join him in his quest, to flee the rehabilitation center and follow their destiny. But before she can agree, fate intervenes, as guards arrive to escort Jack to his electroshock therapy session, leaving Karen alone and uncertain, ordered to meet with her doctor. Later that night, Karen finds herself in Jack's embrace, tears streaming down her face as she reveals the shocking truth that her doctor violated her trust, touching her inappropriately. Jack's eyes blaze with fury, his mind racing with a singular focus: vengeance. He vanishes into the darkness, driven by a primal urge to protect Karen, and returns with a sinister grin. He has ended the doctor's life. As the police sirens echo through the facility, Jack turns to Karen, his voice trembling with emotion, and confesses his undying love. Hand in hand, they flee the rehabilitation center, leaving behind the shackles of their troubled past, and vanish into the night, their love burning brighter with every step. The scene then switches to Elvis, the once untouchable king of rock and roll, now a shadow of his former self. His voice, once a clarion call to the masses, has grown hoarse and worn, his music a distant memory in the minds of his former devotees. Desperate to reclaim his throne, he embarks on a summer tour, a last-ditch effort to revive his flagging career. But with only 20 days left until the show, Elvis's doubts and fears began to suffocate him. He is a religious man, and prays for glory, unaware that his salvation is hurtling towards him in the form of Jack, a young man consumed by an unholy obsession. The stage is set for a collision course between two lost souls, one seeking redemption, the other driven by a deadly fixation. As Jack and Karen embark on their journey to Los Angeles, they make a poignant pit stop at the Black Ridge Indian Reservation, the place of Jack's birth and tumultuous upbringing. After visiting his mother's grave, they go to meet his only friend, T, who has been entrusted with a precious secret. Turns out that before his stint in rehab, Jack carefully buried a stash of guns, money, and comic books, his treasured possessions, and now he is eager to reclaim them. However, upon unearthing the bag, Jack's excitement turns to outrage. He finds that the money is gone, pilfered by T to fund his own unlikely desire for estrogen pills. Jack's fury erupts into a fiery confrontation, but ultimately, his anger gives way to forgiveness, his bond with T proving stronger than his resentment. After not getting the money, Jack and Karen turn to his father's residence, a place Jack has long avoided. When his father finally opens the gate, Jack feels an unexpected pang of affection, which he quickly suppresses. He introduces Karen as his friend, and at this moment, it is revealed that she resembles his mom. But when Jack requests a loan, his father slams the door shut, sparking Jack's fury. With a burst of adrenaline, Jack forces his way in, only to find his father has called the authorities. In a split second, Jack shoots his father. Karen rushes to help him with the wound, but Jack remains focused on the money. With his objective achieved, Jack kneels beside his father, his voice laced with a mix of emotions, asking him to convey his love to his mother in the afterlife. Just then, T bursts in, warning of the police's arrival. Upon seeing the lifeless body, T pleads to join them on their journey to California, and Karen's compassionate gaze persuades Jack to agree, forming an unlikely trio bound for the Golden State. As the sound of sirens pierces the air, Jack, Karen, and T make a break for the back door, fleeing the scene of chaos. They sprint towards their getaway car, bullets whizzing past them as the police give chase. Jack's hands grip the wheel tightly as he puts the pedal to the metal, speeding down the winding roads. With one hand on the wheel, he fires back at their pursuers, the gunshots echoing through the night air. The police are closing in, but Jack's determination and desperation fuel his driving skills. Finally, after what seems like an eternity, they manage to shake off the police, leaving the danger and chaos in their dust. The trio breathe a collective sigh of relief as they speed towards the horizon, their fate and future uncertain. The scene then switches to the tranquil suburbs where Karen spent her formative years, a stark contrast to the chaos that now surrounds her. Turns out that the media has descended upon her childhood home, dubbing her and Jack in sensational headlines. Reporters swarm the neighborhood, seeking interviews with anyone who knows the couple, including Karen's friends, family, and even former acquaintances. The invasion of her privacy is total, with camera crews going through her old bedroom, searching for clues and insight into her psyche. Amidst all this, a poem she penned years ago is discovered, its words now being scrutinized for hidden meanings and cryptic messages. Meanwhile, the trio of Jack, Karen, and T are living their twisted dream, embarking on a road trip across America, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. And amidst their honeymoon of bloodshed, the authorities are closing in, hot on their heels, tracing their path to a seedy motel where they recently stayed. There, amidst the remnants of their fleeting presence, police discover a crucial clue, a list of Elvis Presley's summer tour dates, with one particular concert circled in red, May 11th. Before his tour begins, Elvis Presley teeters on the brink of a mental collapse. The pressures of fame, combined with the recent loss of his beloved mother, have taken a devastating toll on his psyche. Colonel Tom Parker, the shrewd businessman who invested his career in Elvis's success, flies to Los Angeles to intervene. He finds Elvis in a state of despair, plagued by self-doubt and a crippling lack of confidence. Elvis confides in Tom his desire to abandon the tour and walk away from the spotlight altogether. But Tom, unwilling to let his golden goose slip away, sternly commands Elvis to push through the tour, promising a well-deserved break afterwards. Little does Tom know, Elvis's grief over his mother's passing still lingers, a deep wound that will take far more than a simple pep talk to heal. Traveling through the states, they knock at a trailer parked in the middle of nowhere. A man, Mr. X, emerges from the shadows, his weathered face a testament to a life lived on the fringes. Jack's eyes lock onto him with an unnerving intensity, as he reveals a long-forgotten promise made years prior to aid Jack in his quest to find Elvis, because X knew Elvis from way before his success. He welcomes them inside, where the air is thick with the scent of stale cigarettes and forgotten dreams. It is here that Karen discovers the forgotten tale of Elvis's high school sweetheart, Miss Dixie Locke, a revelation that stirs a deep longing within her. But ignoring her dilemma, Jack presses Mr. X for information on Elvis's whereabouts. When met with resistance, Jack's hand instinctively goes to his pistol, his eyes cold and calculating. Cowering in fear, Mr. X relinquishes the name of the hotel where Elvis is staying, but not before imparting a poignant warning to treat Elvis with kindness, for he is but a sad, poor man, lost in the twilight of his fame. That day, when they drive away from the trailer, Karen feels an unshakable sense of loneliness settle over her like a shroud. The desolate landscape seems to mirror her inner turmoil as they drive away, the silence between them thick with unspoken emotions. At a truck stop in Utah, she steals some magazines. As the miles blur together, she begins scribbling a brief memoir, a cathartic exercise that helps her process the tumultuous events of her life. But upon reaching the breathtaking Grand Canyon, she symbolically discards her writing, letting the winds of change sweep away her past. It is then, in the shadow of one of nature's wonders, that she confides in T about her missed period, and the possibility that she might be carrying a new life within her. T's joy is infectious, his laughter and congratulations enveloping her in a sense of belonging. As she weeps happy tears in his embrace, the vast expanse of the canyon seems to shrink, replaced by the promise of a new beginning. On the other hand, just one day before his highly anticipated show, Elvis seeks solace in the calming waters of the ocean, finding a moment of peace amidst the chaos of his life. As he emerges from his swim, he returns home to his loving family, his wife and daughter, who shower him with affection and support. His wife's words of encouragement, spoken with a gentle touch, bolster his confidence, and he feels a sense of gratitude for her unwavering belief in him. With a renewed sense of purpose, he leaves for a party in his honor, surrounded by adoring fans and sycophants. Yet, despite being the center of attention, he can't shake off the feeling of profound loneliness, a sense of disconnection from the world around him. The glamour of his fame seems to fade, revealing the hollow echo of his own isolation. The scene shifts back to the trio, where Karen's concerns about Jack's intentions towards Elvis come to a head. She implores Jack to spare Elvis's life, but he responds with a mocking laugh, sending a chill down her spine. Turns out that she is scared that even if Jack is acquitted of his past crimes, taking the life of a legend like Elvis would be an unforgivable sin. Jack's anger is ignited, and he slams on the brakes, pulling over to confront Karen. Their argument escalates into a heated fight, with Karen refusing to back down, declaring she is not meant for this. In the midst of this chaos, a truck crashes into their car and gunfire erupts, leaving T injured. In a shocking turn of events, Jack surrenders to save his friend's life. But before he can be taken away, Karen takes matters into her own hands, shooting the officer and freeing them all from the jaws of fate. With a heavy heart, they carefully place T's injured body in the car, racing against time to find sanctuary. But fate has other plans, and T's life slips away in Karen's arms, leaving them both shattered. In a somber ritual, they bid farewell to their friend, cremating his body to prevent any further tracing. Exhausted and grief-stricken, they seek refuge in a hotel, hoping to find solace in each other's embrace. The luxurious Shangri-La suite offers a fleeting respite, but Karen's anguish soon resurfaces. She confides in Jack, expressing her exhaustion with the endless chaos and her inability to continue down this dangerous path. She reveals the possibility of her pregnancy, apologetic for the unexpected twist, but Jack's response is unexpectedly tender. He lies down beside her, wrapping his arms around her in a warm embrace, welcoming the prospect of a new life amidst the turmoil. The scene shifts to Colonel Tom, Elvis's formidable manager, who storms into the room to find the king himself sprawled on a sofa, utterly intoxicated and unconscious. With a stern expression, he barks orders at the crew, demanding they get Elvis ready to take the stage or face immediate termination. Chaos ensues as the team scrambles to revive Elvis, attempting to sober him up with coffee and cold compresses. The air is thick with tension and urgency as the clock ticks closer to showtime and the crowd's anticipation grows. Colonel Tom's worry is palpable. A canceled concert would be a PR disaster, and he is determined to get Elvis on stage, no matter what it takes. Meanwhile, Jack prepares to face his fate, sharing a poignant goodbye with Karen before departing. With a sense of resolve, he leaves the hotel room, leaving Karen to her thoughts. After he departs, Karen gets out of his room and heads towards the ocean, seeking solace in the rhythmic waves. As she wades into the water, the sensation of the surf crashing against her skin brings a sense of joy she has never known before. Emerging from the ocean, she sits beside a young girl building an intricate sandcastle, and for the first time, the prospect of motherhood doesn't fill her with fear. Instead, she feels a sense of wonder and possibility, as if the universe is unfolding a new path before her. Upon reaching the hotel where Elvis is staying, Jack asks for the room where Elvis is staying, unaware of the unfolding events at the Shangri-La suite. Meanwhile, Karen, with a heavy heart, pens a letter wishing Jack luck on his perilous path, her hand trembling as she grasps the pistol he left behind and gets out of the motel. Jack, excited to fulfill his destiny, marches towards Elvis's room, not knowing that fate has something else in store for him. When he arrives, with a rifle in his hand, he stops abruptly upon seeing Elvis's wife and daughter, innocent and vulnerable. The memory of Karen's words about her possible pregnancy resonates, and he hesitates, lowering his weapon. But fate has other plans. As he turns to leave, Elvis emerges from the shadows, gun in hand, and fires a fatal shot. Jack's destiny is not what he had imagined. Instead, it is a tragic collision of circumstances. In that fleeting instant, as their eyes lock, Jack's gaze pierces the veil of his obsession, and he beholds the icon he's idolized for so long. Elvis, the very embodiment of his musical salvation, the voice that comforted him through countless desolate nights. As the truth dawns on him, his spirit begins to unravel, his essence slowly departing his mortal coil. In a poignant surrender, Jack's soul slips away, freed from the shackles of his fixation, finally at peace. As the sun sets on that fateful day, news outlets buzz with the shocking attempted assassination of Elvis Presley. But the name Jack Bluebird is curiously absent from the reports. The king's secret remains safe, his role in Jack's tragic demise known only to a select few. The movie ends with Elvis playing to the crowd that evening, his performance electrifying everyone as if he were 18 again, his legend undiminished. Jack's lifeless body lies on a cold metal slab, a poignant contrast to the vibrant energy of the concert, and Karen drives off on a highway into nowhere, her future a mystery. Some whisper that she changed her name, laid low and resurfaced years later, reinvented as Jennifer Fever, a recording artist. Her 1988 hit Shangri-La Suite is said to be a haunting tribute to her doomed love affair with Jack Bluebird. The truth, like Jack's spirit, remains elusive, lost in the haze of legend and myth.